Alright, these came today, pretty psyched. They're a pair of forks, and let's open them. Alright, here they are. You can see these are 2002 Marzocchi bombers. He said they were Z1 drop-offs. I need to look into it. But yeah, seems pretty sick. Pretty good condition, apart from the spider webs and all that kind of stuff. And then the steerer, don't know if you can see it, it's a bit rusted, but I'll try and clean that up. But apparently the steerer is 210, so it's longer than the steerer that I have now, which means I'll finally be able to run a fork where I don't have steerer issues. At the moment, the current fork on my Kona is doing pretty good. I haven't had it slip yet, but you don't want it to slip when you need it. Otherwise, your handlebar's going to turn and you're gonna case it. Some rust on the steerer, you can see. Got two adjustments on top. I think you just turn it with a Allen key or something like that. Similar to my Z1s. Seals look alright, not leaking oil. The crown doesn't seem to be separating. And just, yeah, a bunch of spider webs. Here's the underside. Classic Australia. But yeah, the color's really cool. It's like a deep ruby red and a little bit metallic. So what I'm going to do is clean these up, give them a service, just clean the internals basically, and chuck them on the Kona, see how they go. Shoo! Alright, so this is what they sound like before the service. Yeah, pretty scorchy right there. I don't know if they're going to sound much better after the service, but we'll see. We'll have a nice comparison to see what they sound like. And here I'm just giving it a quick once over, just wiping all the dirt off before I start working on it. These been sitting around for a while, getting rid of the spider web, stuff like that. I just use a nylon brush for the hard to reach areas, and then yeah, just get rid of the dirt. And then here with the steerer, what I wanted to do was just clean up some of the rust on there. You can see it's basically coated in rust. There wasn't any real way to get rid of all the rust unless I soaked the whole thing in the vapor rust, and I probably wasn't going to do that just because this crown is attached to the stanchions. So what I did was I just used a wire brush and WD-40 and just got as much as I could off it. Just do what you can, and I just made sure I cleaned near the crown area, just so when I install the crown race I won't have any issues. But yeah, looking pretty good I think. Alright, I just got on the stand here so I can kind of drop it out, and a little bucket at the bottom. Gonna undo these screws at the bottom and all the oil should pop out. These are the bolts you can see. So yeah, this takes I think a 15mm socket. Just if you have a socket set, you kind of just get the one that fits. But yeah, as I was turning, one came off real easy. You can see here on the right arm it came off real easy. But then on the left arm or the left leg of the fork, it just kept spinning for some reason, and I couldn't work out why. Okay, so I kept turning it for a little while and it seems like it's just going round and round. So I have a feeling it's kind of loose up in here, so I can't take it out. So I'm gonna have to open up the top. Yeah, I was hoping once I open up the top there'd be some way to kind of hold the internal damper so that I could untwist the bolt. The bolt twisted off, like loosened off, but it didn't come all the way off. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit weird. But yeah, here I'm just unwinding these little pressure cap things. These are the adjusters. I just wind them all the way out to put less pressure on the spring. So when you undo these bolts, the spring's not going to shoot out, or the bolt's not going to shoot out. But yeah, I think this takes 22 mil socket. But yeah, those came out pretty easy, just anti-clockwise, and there's this little disc in there that pushes down on the springs, a little coin. Don't forget about that. Same on both sides. And yeah, just drop it into a bucket. Be careful here, just because the oil's probably going to go everywhere. So yeah, just take care. The oil's kind of hard to get out of your clothes and stuff. So yeah, just use a bucket and you should be sweet. Here I just drained it a bit. Make sure the oil is out. You can also put it in a stand. If you have a bike stand, you can put it in there. And then I just squeeze the forks just to help get the oil out again. I looked inside the fork and there's nothing, there's no Allen key where you can put it in to stop turning. It seems like for me to get that bolt off, I need to put the spring back in and put some more pressure, and that holds the bolt. So I'm going to give that a go and hopefully it works. So yeah, basically put the spring back in, put the coin back in, put the bolt back in, and then I wind down the adjuster all the way in to put more pressure on the spring and try to undo it. But yeah, unfortunately it just kept spinning around. It was getting pretty frustrating at this point. Alright, so one more trick I can do is if I squeeze this manually and try to untighten that at the same time, hopefully puts enough pressure on that bolt and then it comes undone, hopefully. Let's give it a try. Yeah, so I always thought it was kind of funny how the bolt tension is based on how much pressure you put on the dampening rod, which is, I don't know, kind of a little bit weird, I think, but I'm not designing forks or anything. But yeah, basically I tried putting the spring in and trying to push down on it, but it didn't really do anything. I tried to squeeze as hard as I could. It was kind of hard trying to hold the fork down and try to unwind it at the same time. You can see here I've kind of put all my body weight on it, try to compress the forks to undo it, and then that wasn't working, so I decided to spray this. I think it's 94. It's meant to lubricate, free up lubricating parts. I don't know if it's going to work. I think it's WD-40 without the solvent, so I thought that'd be better for the forks. But yeah, I kind of kept trying. This took a little bit and it still didn't work. So I thought maybe I could put something in there or file like a little part where I can have two little pins to kind of hold that circular disc in there with the holes. But then looking in it, I found out that actually the very small hole inside the middle is an Allen key bolt. So I was kind of quite surprised that it was really hard to see just with my eyesight. But if I zoomed in with the camera, I could see that it was an Allen key. So yeah, super stoked on that. Also, shout out to Darren. He also said this is what he does with his forks or rock shocks, and maybe it'd work on marzoccis, but he's never worked on marzoccis, so kind of helped me, forced me to take a look inside. But yeah, basically I put the Allen key in there. It's a 3mm Allen key, quite small. And I think this worked because my bolt was already loosened, so I just needed something to hold it. And I ended up, it ended up actually undoing, which was, yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. You probably didn't see it in the footage, but this was probably from when I posted on Instagram asking for help to actually undoing it was probably like 5 hours. So granted, I didn't work on it the whole time, but yeah, it was kind of just frustrating trying to rack my brain on how to get this done. But yeah, you can see the bolts out. Yeah, super stoked on that. Sometimes when you work on forks, you just like, you think it's going to be a quick thing, but then ends up taking a long time. But you can see some of the old grease or debris in there that was kind of holding it up. But yeah, now that was done, I could just take the lowers off, just pop those off, and you can see because it's been draining for a long time, there's almost no oil coming out. And sometimes there's oil in this if it hasn't drained, so just be careful when you take these rods out. And then I took these little nylon washers off just for when I washed them. And then when I was storing the forks, I put paper towel in the legs to make sure it didn't leak anywhere. I'm pretty sure if you have a garage or something, you probably don't care. about it leaking, but yeah, most of this was inside my house, so try to keep it clean. And then here, just using water and detergent just to give it a clean. It's just a little bit of detergent. I didn't want too much detergent in there. I just wanted to flush it out, give it a nice clean. And then after that was done, there was still some like real sticky residue on the forks, on the lowers, but then on these stanchions ended up being pretty clean. I just kind of rinsed them out with water, and yeah, they were pretty good. I think I wiped them down with paper towel and stuff if there was any stains on them or something like that. But yeah, ended up being in pretty good condition, so I was lucky, because these lowers, they're pretty scratched up. But yeah, I need to get rid of all this kind of black sticky residue. I'm not sure why there was so much of it, but it didn't come off with just water and detergent, so I had to use a little bit of this dissolvent spray. But yeah, it came off pretty easily. And you can see the stanchions in pretty good nick. Pretty happy with that. And then yeah, just cleaning the end of these rods where the threads are, because I don't want my bolts to kind of stick again. Otherwise I'd have to chuck the Allen key in there, and same thing. But yeah, cleaning the threads just for next time. And then here, cleaning the crown, just using a little bit of WD-40 and foil. Just be careful you don't get WD-40 on stanchions or anything. I just sprayed a little bit and just rubbed it all around. But yeah, that helped me get rid of the stains that were kind of on there, or the residue. But that was looking pretty good. I wasn't going to go full polish on this just because I am going to run the forks, and they'll probably get scratched up and dirty anyway, but give them a once over and they should look a bit better. Yeah, so someone put a protective sticker over this Z1 wedge, but when they put it on, it was kind of crinkled and looks pretty bad, so I decided to take it off. But yeah, it was every time I tried to peel it off, it would flake off, and yeah, it was super hard to kind of get this off. I tried to use a little bit of that solvent spray, but I didn't want to use too much because I didn't want to take the Z1 wedge sticker off. But yeah, just be careful when you do it and take your time, and it should come off. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Looks way better than before. Here's the stanchions. Here are the lowers. Looking pretty good. And then just cleaning the inside with paper towel and a paintbrush stick. I'm sure if you have like a towel or something, might be better. But yeah, you just want to get rid of all the dirt inside, if there's still any inside after you flushed it out. And then just putting some silicone grease on these washers here, or the O-rings, I think they're called. Just because you want to keep them moist and you want them to last. And the silicone grease is waterproof, so the water won't damage it, or it won't leak when you got the oil. And then here I put on the inside of the fork as well, just to help slide it in and create a nice seal. And then here you just kind of got to just do one side a little bit, and then the other side just to get the stanchions in, and then you should be able to push them in once they're aligned. But yeah, the silicone grease helps that too. And then yeah, these are on. Pretty sweet. And then here, just putting these nuts on. I did put a little bit of grease, just normal grease here, just to make sure they didn't seize up next time I took them off. Just a little bit goes a long way, I think. And then I just hand wound these in for now, because I do have to put the springs back in to put pressure on the damper rod for me to fully tighten them. But yeah, you don't have to tighten these too hard. And then here, cleaning these little caps, they just had dirt on them. Once again, brush and a little bit of foil, a little bit of WD-40 just on the top. Be careful you don't get WD-40 on the O-rings. But yeah, it's just taking the time and cleaning them, giving them a once over. And then you can actually take the inside adjustment out as well. You can see these are looking pretty good, pretty fresh. Yeah, you can take these inside adjustments out all the way, and you can yeah, just give them clean and reapply silicone grease to the O-rings just to help you create that seal again. Make sure no oil is gonna leak out. And yeah, just wind them back in. I just wind them back in till they're flush with the top cap, and then that should you can readjust them after once you put those all the caps on. But yeah, these are looking good. And now to put the forks back together, so put the springs in, I put the cap back on, and don't forget the circular washer to push down on the spring. And then I just finger tighten it, tighten the top, and then you can tighten the bolts at the bottom. Alright, it seemed like it worked. Everything's tightened up. You don't have to tighten up the bottom ones too much. I think it's 9 Newton meters. And now time to put the oil in. So yeah, the oil is a little bit tricky from what they say in the manual. Basically, you need the springs out and have it fully compressed, and then it's 60 millimeters from the top. So 60 millimeter gap from the top of the stanchions. So what I did was I got a toothpick that was 65 millimeters, and then just put the oil in and then kept measuring with the toothpick. Just put the toothpick in there and try to gauge 60 millimeters. And what you can do is you just cycle the fork up and down to make sure all the oil is getting in the damper rods. And yeah, make sure there's no, make sure the oil's fully in there. You can double check on both sides. Go slow with the oil, because once you pour in too much, it's pretty hard to take it out. But yeah, I'm just using liquid moly motorcycle oil, 7.5 weight, I'm pretty sure it is. So I think it's a little heavier than what's spec'd, but it should work the same. Can't remember what's spec'd. I think it's either 5 or 7.5. But yeah, you just cycle it a few times and it should be good. And then just follow the same process. Drop the spring in. Drop it slow, otherwise the oil's going to splash out. And then put the little coin on top. And then the bolt or the cap. Just wind the cap in. So yeah, the top cap you can wind up pretty tight. I think it's 22 Newton meters spec'd. You can see here I dropped the coin on the other side, but I forgot to put the spring in. Definitely don't do that. I ended up using an Allen key to get it out. But yeah, sometimes I'm not sure why I did that, but maybe just a lapse. Just dropped it in. But luckily I was able to get it out without too much hassle. And then here dropping the other spring in to make sure I don't forget the spring this time. And then yeah, just go slow because it's just got oil in there. Put the caps on, wind these up tightish, and yeah, should be good to go. You can also adjust the pressure at the top now if you want. Usually I ride with them all the way down just to make them a little bit stiffer in case I hit any jumps or anything. But yeah, if you just ride trails, you might want to just adjust it accordingly, and then just putting these little nylon caps back on just to cover it up. And this is what it sounds like after it's all done. Yeah, so it sounds pretty good, I reckon. And yeah, it definitely feels stiffer than it was before, which is good. Alright, here they are. Pretty rad, pretty clean. I don't know if they're that much more quiet, but it definitely feels better. A little bit stiffer. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Chuck them on, give them a little bit of a spin, and I'll be able to tell from there. Here they are, comparison to the Z1s. This is 98 or 99 Z1 BAM. This one's 2002 wedge. Same height. You can see the steer is longer. But yeah, I'll give them away, see if there's much of a difference. Alright, Z1 BAMs are 2067. Alright, just weighed it with the same box thing, so 2138 grams. So yeah, that's the difference. Here just chucking the forks on my Kona, and the current forks I think have a travel of probably like 100 or 110. So what it's going to do is it's going to make the head tube angle a little less steep as well. It's kind of what I used to have when I had the Z1 BAMs on there. And then you can see me taking out this spacer for the steerer tube that's too short. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked I finally got a fork with the steerer long enough. It's been a couple of years at least, and while it held alright, it's still kind of like risky. But yeah, here I made a DIY tool to take off the crown race, but basically a piece of aluminium flat, it's nice and soft so it won't damage anything, and I just file the end at an angle, and then you just put it around and tap away. And yeah, it actually ended up working quite well. I was quite happy with this tool, just because it wouldn't damage the crown, and it was quite easy to take the crown race off as well. You just try to tap around evenly, and then when you get a big enough space, you just use the other end to pop it off. So yeah, stoked on that. And then here you can see, looking good, no damage at all, pretty sweet. And then here putting the crown race on the new forks, using the crown race setter tool. Someone told me previously you don't bang it down like this, you put it on your crown race and then you bang the top with a hammer, but I only remembered after I did it, so it seemed to work alright anyway. And then when I was putting the fork back on, I couldn't put this washer on for some reason. It was just like so tight, and I tried pushing really hard but it didn't come on. So I decided to give the steerer a light sand with 600 wet and dry, just to take a little bit more of the rust off. I was thinking the rust was stopping it from going in. Like a stem would fit, but the little cap wouldn't. So I just sanded off the end a little bit just to help it go in. And you can see it's still super tight, but it went on. This is, yeah, Chris King headset, has a little nylon washer on the top. And then here, putting the fork on. That's on. And then yeah, I put a little bit of grease on that nylon washer as well, just to help it. But yeah, it was pretty tight still. But yeah, I was able to get it on, which is good. Alright, that's on. And yeah, got lots of steerer there. I could run different stems. I have old downhill stems that I could run, that I've wanted to run for a while. But I'm just going to put what I had on here for now, just to ride around and see how it goes. But yeah, it's nice having that option if I want it. And then here, just putting the stem lock on there. I could also install star nut if I want to now. But yeah, putting the stem lock, old school stem lock, just to make it extra strong. And then lining up the bars, tying up the bolts alternatively. And yeah, it's on. Feeling pretty good. That's basically it. Just need to take it for a test ride. Alright, super stoked on how these forks turned out. I think they ride pretty amazing, soaks up all the bumps, and pretty stiff as well when I take off on jumps, so I'm not washing out. I did take a little bit of a spill today, but yeah, still had fun. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you to all the people who bought stickers, shirt, all that stuff. If you want to check out some new stuff, got some new stuff in my store. Got the Specialized Hard Rock Sport build coming up soon, and also more episodes of Bike Talk for people that have been asking. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.